Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, and welcome to Disruption Forum Design Horizons. Join us for the very first panel discussion at the event, and today we're diving into the evolving world of design leadership and management, and we'll be exploring how today's global dynamics influence creativity and innovation and teamwork. So I'm honored to be here with an esteemed panel of design leaders who are at the forefront of shaping the future of our design industry. So please join me in welcoming Nivin KUZBARI, Senior Manager of Product Design at Talabat, Venessa Bennett, Global Director of UX at Durham Corporation, and Shane Stuart, Director of Product Design at OLX Group Europe. Each brings a wealth of experience and a unique perspective on how to thrive in our ever-changing landscape of design. My name is Bartek. For the last 7 years, I've been heading design team of 60 plus fantastic designers here at NetGuru. And let's get started. So first, Nivin, would you like to say a few words about yourself for the audience?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm dialing in from Dubai. I recently joined Talabat, as you said, as a senior product design manager. Where I look after the shopping team, we are responsible for the food ordering within the app. And before that, I had the privilege to lead both teams in Bedrock Streaming, part of M6 and RTL, and Société Générale back in Paris. I'm so happy to be here, looking forward to this conversation.
Thank you very much. Venessa, maybe a few words about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Venessa. Recently joined Durham, which is a legal tech business. We're a global company, so I'm in charge of UX across all our different markets. Currently building the design practice, which is always an interesting endeavor. But outside of the day-to-day, I also do a lot of speaking and thought leadership around design and design community, and kind of really specialize in that space around emerging leaders and senior designers who want to get into that more leadership space.
Thank you very much. And Shane, a few words about yourself.
For sure, yeah. Happy to be here. How's everyone doing? So yeah, I'm Shane. I'm currently Director of Design at OLX. Not sure if anyone knows what OLX is. I'm sure a lot of people from Poland do, but we're responsible for leading like a double-sided marketplace around classifieds. So I lead a team of approximately about 50, and this spans across many markets: Poland, Portugal, Germany, and so forth. So I'm primarily responsible for leading the team on the horizontal. So this is our goods categories, much of our jobs and services, but also the real estate vertical. So we have many verticals. We have a motor side, we have the real estate side that look deep into the customer journeys around buying cars and buying real estate. So I lead the real estate and the horizontal teams. I'm based in Portugal, and I've been with OLX for almost 3 years now.
Thank you very much. So I'd love us to explore three themes. And first is about current market. So in light of current market and global situation, how has your work been affected? So what aspects of your work are you most focused on now compared to the past? Can you maybe share some specific examples? What has become relevant to you? And maybe let's start with Nivin as well.
Let's start with Shane. No. I think today in today's market, we could see lots of rivals coming and to the market for product designers and product design in particular. It became very challenging time because you could say that we've almost created everything, and today it's a little bit hard to be innovative, especially with the constraints of time, the budget, the time to market, and as I said, the rivals in general.
Venessa?
Yeah. To add to that, I think the shift, especially joining a new business, is really focusing on not trying to do everything and really focusing on what the top business priorities are. I think previous companies that I've been in and previously, it was all about design contributing to everything that I can contribute to. But I think especially with the background of loads of layoffs happening, it's really important for my team and myself even to be able to align ourselves to those business priorities, but also, and I hate the word, but showcase our value more so than any time it's been historically, I think. Jane, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, +1 to both what Vanessa and Nivin said, but what I would add is like, I mean, OLX, specific to OLX, we've been impacted last year. We had a very, very difficult year last year. We had layoffs. We weren't an exception to those. A very high regard to profitability, right? So we shifted from more of a long-term view to more of a short-term view based on shareholder value, right? Trading profit was super important for us to prioritize this year, as Vanessa was saying. So the team, so how it affected our work is like really focusing on the team culture as well, right? Like with this very difficult year, it was very, very, very important that we kept the teams, the design team, and just the broader organization feeling secure, feeling motivated, feeling inspired. We had to rebuild a lot of trust within the teams, right? Because it was such a hard year. So given we had a strong focus on execution to remain profitable, like we had to really balance that with the teams. However, this year is a lot better. We're hiring this year, a lot more stability that we're providing the teams this year based on a very difficult year that we had last year. Financially, we're really, really strong. With this whole strong push for Gen AI, which I'm sure we'll get into in a bit, that's been also motivating too. So +1 to what Vanessa and Nivin were saying is just like how we really kind of make sure we're taking care of the teams, keep them motivated. It's been such a turbulent time of uncertainty, right? And teaching them various skills and up-leveling around adaptability, how to really navigate and lead through uncertainty. Like these are all new sort of skills, right? Soft skills that we need to teach our teams in this sort of new normal, right?
So maybe let's dig deeper because that's very interesting. So how are you leveraging those challenges as opportunities for innovation and growth for you or your teams?
Yeah, I think one of the key things that we're starting to do is really work strategically, but and really be part of that vision and what the vision is for the company. I think one of the things that designers can do is help visualize that vision, because a lot of the time the product vision is a bunch of words, and everyone's interpretation of those words are going to be slightly different depending on your context and what you feel. So what we've been doing is really doing designs that are focused on visualizing that vision and getting everyone on the same page, but also informing that roadmap. And it helps us almost just think about, okay, so AI, how do we integrate AI into our products in a really thoughtful way, rather than at the moment we're doing it very experimental. We're just kind of putting it on the screen. But how can we actually integrate it, and what does this look like in the future? And what that does also from a creativity perspective is it doesn't bake us into that delivery aspect, or can we deliver this? It's really on this is what it could be, to capture the imagination of the business, and then we almost work backwards with product and engineering. And I think from a design perspective and a team perspective, what that does is really help get those creative juices flowing, but also show that design can be part of that product strategy and a key player in product strategy.
Nice.
Yeah, to add to Vanessa's points, actually, it's because it's a challenging time today, and with all the business objectives and the product objectives as well. It's not only our role actually as product designers in general. It doesn't stop today in only visualizing the vision, but as well finding the place to create the vision with the product side of the business, and even with the business itself. But this is where it comes, challenges comes as well, because it is a change of the role and change of skills. It's not a change of skills, but more of like leveling up the team. How would you level them up? And as Shane said, soft skills as well is part of this. So in one of the discussions we said, like some years before, said that soft skills became the new hard skills, right? And then this is where a good product designer would come into the equation, where we get to link, to create this link between product business engineers and product designers, and then leveling up the whole vision, as you said, Vanessa.
I think this is the perfect bridge for the second theme. So building resilient teams. So as you mentioned, in today's environment, building a team that can navigate this uncertainty is crucial. So can you talk about what strategies are you employing to assemble and nurture such teams? Maybe Shane, your...
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to. I mean, just for context here, OLX, like, we're fully remote, OLX, and I mean, we work across multiple countries and time zones. So one of the key challenges is like how to keep the teams connected. And I'm a strong believer that, you know, resiliency, optimistic sort of that positivity, their optimistic sort of attitude, heavily surrounds like how connected people feel, right? So we just some strategies that we work is really how to keep connected in like this remote world is we have offsites. So we regularly meet up every quarter in sort of now they're called on-site for designers, product, tech, all these sort of functions to come together and start sort of ideating and sort of building the future that we want to see, right? We had a really great workshop about a month ago around Gen AI. Like, what are some some blue sky thinking about Gen AI can really bring the business forward, bring some customer value to the many customers we serve over in, you know, across Europe, which is really awesome. Also, it's just like we really need to understand that through this uncertainty, we have the right leadership team, we have the right management team to really keep our designers and our team motivated, happy. Do we have the right goals? Do we have the right career paths? How do we keep them secure and through these sort of turbulent challenges that we are experiencing? It's you know, in my 18 years in this industry, like we haven't seen anything like this as far as the macroeconomics and what this means for tech. So it's interesting times that we live in. So again, to summarize, keep them connected and keep them engaged, and really focused on that human element of managing people and really keeping them at the center of what we do. You know, it's always we're a business too, so we need to kind of factor in how we're contributing to the business and the bottom line, but we really need to take a human aspect to the people side and make sure that they're taken care of.
Fantastic, thank you. Vanessa, you're eager to...
Definitely agree with what Shane said. I think in my team, what I like to do is make them feel like they have skin in the game. So a lot of the things that we do is we come up with team objectives. So we're all driving towards the same goal, and also definitely agree with what Shane said around just the career kind of plans and development, right? So you'll have a balance between soft skills and the hard skills, but making sure that they're learning and getting that additional value from working here, and not just just banging out screens or just doing the day-to-day. They're getting something that contributes to the bigger picture in their career. So I think those are the key kind of things. But similar to what Shane said, it's also balancing that out of, we are a business, we do need to be focused on the top priorities. We do actually, if you want to be a design leader, you do kind of need to understand a little bit about the business and how it works, and be able to articulate that as well to get buy-in. So it is a bit of skilling them up in the kind of key important things as the landscape changes, but also giving them that safety and security so that they know, they can contribute to this team, they can still grow in the organization. But basically that's it. Anything else to add, Nivin?
I think, I agree with both of what you said. One of the, for me, I feel it's a very interesting job that we do, because we work with creative people in an organization within a system. And how do you keep your team thriving and staying, like, keeping their creativity coming within a system that is, as you said, Venessa, working with business numbers, data, and you have the OKRs and all of these stuff. Yes, we need to teach them, if they don't know, but we need to skill up the level of the team with how they read data, how they communicate with business people, the objectives actually, and follow these objectives. At the same time, how to keep them thriving and bringing their ideas to the table. I'm a big believer that if you have a happy team, they would do the job and be creative, and they would push themselves actually to become the best version of themselves. Two things that are very important for any team or for any human being actually is to be seen and to be trusted, right? And I think once we give them that, we give them the space to be who they are, to just bring their ideas to the table while they are in that system. And as you said, Shane, this safe place where they could feel safe. Actually, this is the most important thing. And once we reach to that, this is where we could see this trusted feeling in the app or in the product itself, actually.
Thank you. And can I ask you, what approaches do you take to infuse positivity and motivate your teams? Shane, you've been talking about it for a bit, but can you give some specific examples how your companies and how you do it in your teams? So
I think one of the values in talabat is together we grow, and this is something that we really push to have within in every team and with every team that we operate with. So basically, one of the things that we have in the team is that if you see someone who doesn't know how to do something, just go and help them. Instead of just being with the, let's get away from the toxicity a little bit, the pointing fingers, they didn't know how to do that, just go and help them. So because I believe that we as a team or as an organization, we either grow together or we fall apart together, right? At the end of the day, it's not about the organization. It's not about how we are organized within the company, but it's like we're all working for the same product at the end, right? So basically, and because we work in experience, we better have the experience and apply this good experience within the team and with the people that we work with, and then it would be translated naturally, actually, to the product itself.
Thank you. And Venessa? Anything to add?
Yeah, I think it's just making sure we meet regularly and keep those communications quite tight, and not take things too seriously as well. I think in our team we call it vibes, and we even recruit for people who have good vibes. So it's basically, can we go to the pub with this person essentially, and can we work with this person? Because I think it's really important. You spend most of your life at work, so the people in the team we don't want to create a cult, but we still want to create people that we can work with. So essentially what we do is make sure that we're connected, like Shane said, but we're also having meetings where necessary, but also we're doing the handover communication as well, and using all the async tools that we have. Like we use Teams, so we have Teams. We send each other voice notes as well regularly, which again helps to avoid some of the meetings, especially with the time zones. So yeah, connecting where we need to, but also having that balance between fun and work as well. Shane, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, no, I think you said it perfectly, Vanessa. I think the only thing I would add is like how do we create that vision, right? How do we inspire our teams to not where we are today, but where we're going? And I think you said this earlier, Vanessa, like how do you have designers part of that process, right? Whether it's for the business or for the product team, I think they need that clear, concrete vision of where we're heading as a design team, let alone as a product team. Also, it's important to celebrate the wins. Like I think too often we get into the I call it like the shit of yesterday, right? We get super sucked into like the operational side of what we do, but I think it's for leaders, right? I think it's our responsibility to create the conditions to really celebrate the wins, the accomplishments, not just like at the end of the year or mid-year reviews, but during the year, and we really call out and recognize those designers that are going above and beyond what they're doing, or whatever that is, right? Because that's important for people to feel recognized, to feel valued. And it's contagious, right? Because as leaders, we need to lead through example. And if we do that, hopefully others will do that as well. So I think that, again, going back to that human element of understanding how to incentivize people and really motivate people is really through recognition, right? So I just want to underscore the human element of that as well.
Cool. So you mentioned various skills and designers' jobs is evolving. So with increasing overlap between pretty much design, product, project management, and technology. So what, in your opinion, what types of work or projects should aspiring designers emphasize in their portfolios to stand out or get hired by you and your companies? What's relevant right now? Nivin, can you start?
I'm thinking. I think we can't call one particular thing actually. Today, when we say a portfolio today is totally different than we used to have some years ago, because today we need to have, as Vanessa said, first of all, you need to show your personality, and as well, something that I look for to have in the portfolios that we have is the critical thinking. This is one. Two, how they communicate their work and what type of projects they did and with whom they worked with, right? Because today it's not only about product design, but it's about the products, about the vision and everything that we've said. Do they know how to work with engineers? Do they know how to work with PMs? Do they follow OKRs? Can they read numbers? Can they understand research? Can they do research and all of these stuff? But more importantly, actually, because all of these you could learn them, but then it's like the little extra thing that they have that could make or break the portfolio is definitely the personality and the potential of the person. Because you could hire someone good with hard skills, but these soft skills and the potential of that person is very rare to have. And once you have this profile, I think everyone gets attached to that profile, and we go with it actually. But that extra mile until when they could take it. Yeah.
Shane, do you agree with Nivin? Or are you looking for some
absolutely? I think you covered a lot of
gems in portfolio.
I would just add like what I look for on top of everything that Nivin added, which is a strong growth mindset, right? Because I think if they have a strong growth mindset, and like for instance in a portfolio, I got to expect them to design's not a linear path, right? By any means, it's a roller coaster, right? There's setbacks, there's misalignments, there's conflict. Right? Like I think this is a very, very interesting arc of the story that I would love to see in portfolios and how they managed and persevered through that. Because I'm coming from a larger organization where on any given day there's someone that's misaligned, or there's a conflict, or with maybe a PM or another whatever stakeholder that you may disagree with. Like these are the skills that I think really separate the good from the great designers that I see. So those soft skills, what we're saying, those soft skills are critically important. And why growth mindset's important is because if they have that innate ability to grow, to be self-aware of where their weakness is, gives me a lot of confidence that they're going to be a really strong designer that's going to add a lot of value and to the team and to the business as well. I don't know, Vanessa, do you have anything to add on your side?
Yeah, I mean, I'd add probably two things. I'm recruiting at the moment, so it's quite apt. I think one of the things that I would definitely build on what you both said is branding. Like, there's so many portfolios that I see that literally exactly the same. So it's really, really important for you to stand out from the crowd. I think the other thing is, if you are going to put these things in your portfolio, especially when you're doing personas or whatever activities you're doing in your project, actually know why you've done it. Like, I feel like a lot of people just put in personas just because everyone else has. So it's really like, why have you done this and what is it going to add to the project? And then lastly, which is very, very rare that I find, is business outcomes. So what was the result of this project? What was the outcomes? Did it meet the goal of the project or not? Do you have any data behind that as well? A lot of the time, I do not see these in portfolios and CVs. And the reason why it's important is because now it's so key to have that big business acumen, even if you're just a designer in a team. And I think also a lot of the time, who's recruiting is product people. Product people are recruiting designers. So that's what they look for, is the outcomes of what you've done. So it's really, really key to try and put those in your portfolio and on your CV if you can.
Thank you. And very last question, but follow up on the previous one. Question from the audience: how do you identify good personalities when getting like 300 plus applications for one position?
Yeah, I think that's where it goes back to the branding aspect of it. Like, really brand yourself, and I think like know why should I hire you over the 300 plus designers? What do you I don't want to say bring to the table, but what do you bring to a team that's different from all the other designers? And it's going to be different depending on who you are, and depending on what company you're applying for. They would need that skill set, or maybe they don't quite need it and it's not quite a match. But if you know that and know what strong skills you have, or what bits in the design process you like, for example, and that you'll add, this really sells yourself. And I think that's the key thing, that when I'm looking at portfolios and CVs, is that personality and that branding.
Nivin, Shane, anything you look for?
I look for mistakes, actually. I want to see in a portfolio what mistakes they have done to be able to reach to that conclusion in their project and their career and all of these stuff. Because the happy path, we could sell it. Everyone could sell it, but no one could sell their mistakes, right? So basically, yeah, I'd be looking for that, because it says a lot about a personality and about the substance that they could have.
Good ones. And Shane, the final few words.
No, I mean, I don't want anything yet. I think I agree. Just stand out, right? I think we're all creative designers for a reason. We're creative. please leverage your creativity and just stand out.
Okay, thank you very much. It's been an awesome, very first ever Design Horizon panel. So thank you for being participant in this historic event. And now let's go see the other events. Enjoy the rest of the day. And see you.
Thanks
Cool.
for having
Thanks,
us.
everybody.
Bye.
Welcome, everybody. I hope that you enjoyed the previous panel. I'm Agnieszka Jucha-Kasperczyk, Senior Product Designer at NetGuru, and I will be the host of this meeting. Today, we are all about the future of data-driven. As you can see, I have amazing speaker with me, Anastasia Euchermann, the head of product design and research at softgarden. Hi, Anna.
Hi.
Before we kick things off, so maybe let's start to get to know you a little bit better. So would you tell us a little bit more about how you came in this role?
Sure. I mean, it all started kind of like a long time ago, probably like with everybody else. I really like design forever. I studied design and I was working in advertising for quite some time, where I did not really like see the passion kind of like for myself to develop and to grow. And it all came down kind of like value, like how can I give or bring value with advertising? For sure, for some people, they find a way. I just didn't. Personal experience. So yeah, I was kind of like fascinated, like also by technology and how design and technology can go together, and how like user behavior, the psychology behind it, the like what does influence what, and how do users like use your product, love your product, hate your product. So it went all kind of like to product design, and then obviously the value in research helped product design. So yeah, it just like came together, and with time and process, kind of like I grew and became the head of product design and research at softgarden.
And when we speak about the data-driven design, right, I think that which is like also data is a big part of design itself, and it should be a part of all products. So what exactly do we mean by it?
Well, in classic, let's say, terms, right, when we talk about data-driven design, we talk about qualitative data, which we collect by user interviews, user feedback, user tests, surveys, maybe here and there, right? And then we have the quantitative data, which is like based on metrics. Metrics, for example, click-through rates, conversion rates. Yeah, anything that is numeric, basically like any numeric data, right? And I think this is where we kind of like get into the topic of like how to leverage all of this, right? We have numeric data, we have, let's say, AI and machine learning. Like this is like the perfect combination, how like to get higher faster, right? Yeah.
Currently, I think the AI and machine learning is like a really hot topic, right? Everyone speaks about AI, what are the possibilities, and that it's like growing so fast, and not only in the design part, but like in general, we can see it like in many different places. So how do you see the data-driven products changing in the next 5-10 years? What exciting direction might emerge in the terms of like personalization, user experience, or maybe even entirely new product categories?
I think that products will kind of like adjust to like real time user preferences, right? I think there will be like a crazy hyper personalization as well, right? Leveraging like the data. It could probably even like predict demands even before the user knows it. Personalization will probably also go like beyond what we know at the moment. It will be, making products probably also like feel like personal assistants to some part. I mean, I see this direction, but that's my personal view.
Recently, I saw one of the products connected to AI, where there is like this kind of like AI assistant, always with you, always speaking and giving you the real-time answer based on the Google search or on their knowledge. And it was like really fascinating that few years before, you cannot even imagine that those things are, they are possible. You can go to the internet, search on the Google, and then you need to do the decision by yourself to go deeper. And right now, it's like machine learning, like AI, like excels in analyzing the data, like you said, to identify the user patterns and also predict their behavior. So it could be future. It's something it's currently going on. So how can designers leverage this predictive power of AI and go beyond like just simply understanding user needs and actually anticipate them before they even arise? Right now, you sometimes use the power of AI to like analyze the data to make some make some summaries of the user interviews, for example, of data quality. So how it could be in the future?
I mean, machine learning ability is huge, right? Like it can analyze this like huge amounts of data and identify the patterns, and like it offers just like the opportunity kind of like for the designers to be like more, let's say, proactive, right? And personalize also the user experience, I would say. It is kind of like going into this participatory like direction, right? It kind of like it goes into this predictive user journeys, for example, right? Contextual personalization of products and the usage, right? Adaptive interfaces even, right? I mean, the room is quite big for that. I think there is a lot that can be done. And for, let's say, the leverage for the designer is kind of like, instead being reactive, like it gives us the opportunity to be proactive.
Mm-hmm. And what could be the examples of those like proactiveness behavior from the designers?
That's a good one. I mean, like, let's say we have a user journey, right? Like in the product, I go like in our product. Now we have a SaaS product. We're like in the HR tech. And it's like for the recruiters and for hiring managers, right? Here we kind of like have this like workflow steps, right? I don't know, application comes in, then there's like a screening process, then there's an interview process, then there's like a decision-making process, and then there is, hired, yes, no, kind of like, and giving feedback, right? With these like predictive user journeys, I would say that it can even like give you already, while you're screening, for example, applicants, right, give you like recommendations. It can kind of like give you the best fitting applicants probably like for this job, right? And then it will change the workflow and make it like, let's say, more efficient, or faster, efficient, and predictable as well.
And we also have, during the design process, right, we are the designers, and that using like the AI to like support as a support in creating the designs, the designs that are data driven, and how to like balance this this difference between automatization of AI, if this irreplaceable human touch in this design process, right? Because we are also doing some decision based on our gut feelings, not only on the data, right? Because we can see some behaviors here and there. And how about this like AI, which won't have, or maybe it will have, this human touch in it?
I think like we should not be really scared of AI, right? Like in general, let's put it out there, like as a statement. I think that like AI at the moment, like it is, it's a tool, okay? It's a tool that is enhancing the creative process. It can enhance it by like, let's say, exploration, right? Ideation. It can like bring efficiency in like routine tasks that can like do some informed decision making. It is not replacing humans. It is like there to help us to be better in certain things. I think like it's all about finding the balance, right? How to use it, when to use it, for what tasks, to use it, and also like how do you process whatever you're getting out of the AI, and how do you then like react to it, right? I think it's like kind of like, it's always this process, right? Like you do something, you get like information, and then you kind of like decide as well, yes, no, or what parts of it can I take to enhance like my actual object, like to get to my objective, to get to where I actually want to go.
You also said that we should not be scared about the AI, and I think like a lot of the people is a little bit concerned about the like potential like problems from the ethical part, because it also like analyze the tremendous amount of the data, right? We feed AI and different models with amount of information. So what potential like the downsides or limitation emerge when we become over reliant on it when we are doing the decisions for our products?
Yeah, there are like a few things, right? We need to be really, really aware of. I think like, again, it's a tool, right? It's not a human being that can like bring intuition into like a conversation, right? It's like analyzing data and giving you some sort of a response, right? Or giving you some more information, which would take you like ages to kind of get. I think bias and discrimination is like something that is huge, and we should be really aware of when we talk about AI and how to use AI and where to use AI. The loss of human intuition, for sure, right? I mean, this is kind of what I said earlier, like we're not being replaced, right? It's like it is a tool that is like helping us in doing something. The loss of like creativity as well, because it's analyzing data and giving you, let's say, patterns and like how it could look like, right? But it's not telling you like, I don't know. It's not being creative, let's say it like this. It's just not. Privacy concerns, for sure, right? I mean, you have to kind of also always inform about like your users, right? There's also this, let's say, reduced accountability, right? So if AI is going to take every decision, then like who is being held accountable if something goes really wrong, right? I think the main thing as well, like if we talk about products and using AI, is also like the decrease in user trust. So like if you do the mistake that you're like not communicating properly, like the usage and to what extent you're using AI in your product, there is a pretty high chance that your users will just say, actually, not really interested in you because I don't trust you, right? So yeah.
And I think that building the trust with our the customers, right, when creating the product, it's super important. And how about the soft garden customers? So how your experience in shaping soft garden approach to data-driven design and AI implementation, are any specific challenges you foresee, any exciting opportunities that you would like to explore within soft garden future development?
Yeah, sure. I mean, who doesn't, right? I think when it comes to the exploration and where I would like to go here is let's say candidates are having job matching, right? They have a profile and yeah, I think job matching is something. Then also job recommendations is something. Nothing new, right? But it could be better. Yeah, chatbots could be also interesting for guidance in general. I think this is a pretty good user experience, and it's used and it's there, and it's you're not inventing a wheel new, let's say, right? But it's just how do you use it, and again, to what extent. Anything that is automated, right? For example, communication, right? Let's say you will reject somebody or a bunch of people in an interview process because you have found the perfect candidate, right? Then you could automate all of these things. Pretty simple. When it comes to the employer side, it is also quite interesting, right? Because there you have candidate screening could be it's huge part to explore. It's from skill assessment to recommendations of the right candidates to I don't know, scheduling interviews. What you also said earlier, right? Having the transcription of an interview and giving you a summary or even an evaluation if the let's say skills are fitting, right? Automated feedback here as well. All of this is possible and doable with AI, and I would like to explore personally. I think on the plus side, when we talk about how to approach it and to implement it, right? I think we're in the beginning steps, right? We need to be really careful because we're working with corporate clients, quite big enterprise clients. We have certificates. GDPR is super big. For us, we data privacy in general, right? When it comes to candidate data or employer data, it's a big topic, right? We need to really consider this. So this is why we need to also do, let's say, smaller steps at the beginning to understand all the implications so that we also can make better decisions.
I also think the trust that you mentioned before, right? Because we are here in this, I would say, tech environment, and I think most of the people, it's really into the AI, but also to make it more less scary to broader audience. And we cannot assume that all of our customers are also into the AI and will trust us. I think that those smaller steps that you mentioned are the best way to go, at least for now. And I would love to go deeper with this conversation, but the time flies so fast. It's already 20 minutes, so we need to wrap up. So I would like to really thank you for all of your insights that you shared today. So thank you so much, Anna. I hope that the rest of you also enjoy our talk today. So thank you very much, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you as well. Thanks.
Hello. Hi. Good to see you guys. Welcome. What an interesting panel we had, discussion we had before. And now we have a very nice segue together. And I'm happy to be joined by leaders from different industries with me today. So we have Paweł from a product design director from Vinted with us. Hi, good to see you. We have Francesco, a design system lead at Wolt, and François, head of design from who will give us a financial product perspective on on design, human-centered innovation in the age of AI. So I think we're going to have an interesting discussion. So let's start big. And my first question will be to you, Paweł. I think we all right now know that, well, AI is not going to take our jobs as designers. So we are probably past that discussion. And it's more about embracing it in our design culture. So I'm very curious, how does it work when it comes to embracing it in your culture at Vinted?
First of all, thank you for having me here, Agata. I'm really excited to be part of this panel discussion. Maybe first I'll provide you with the context what we do in buyer domain at Vinted. We are responsible for everything that starts with uploading an item to the platform by our sellers and matching this with our buyers. From the user experience perspective, that means we work with anything that has to do with uploading, searching, browsing, personalizing, engaging with an item, and so on. And majority of features and products we work with are to some extent empowered with the AI. For example, large language models, machine learning, or image recognition. And that also means that designers that work in buyer domain work with AI features and products.
Yeah.
Now, coming to your question, how to foster this culture and what to bring in here. The first of the things I notice, and I think it's very important, is encouraging designers to deepen their technical knowledge and also on the knowledge on the side of what currently you have inside your tech stack. So make connection to your engineers, making connections to your data peers, and ask them questions, ask how it works. It's actually quite complex. It adds additional complexity to the development of the digital products. And the language can be very abstract, and it's important to develop a common language, include those peers in your design and creative process, and be better informed in what you are working with and what kind of value you can bring. Another thing also on the technical side is keep exploring what is out there. And there is a lot of happening, as we all know. Every day we see some new emerging products, which are sometimes even revolutionizing the scene. So it's also pretty hard to catch up on that sometimes. I think it's even more challenging, but still it can be very inspiring to see the use cases of other products and ask the team, what can we do in order to bring similar solution maybe to our users, if we can connect it with, of course, the needs of our users. Another important thing I believe in, it's understanding the data, meaning how the data is being collected, how the data is being processed, and what kind of value we bring in return to our users. With design, I believe we have huge responsibility in communicating to our users what's happening with their personal data, because AI essentially is data, right? So we have to understand it, and we have to translate it to our users so they can understand what's happening with their personal information, what value we offer them in return. So those are both, I think, quite technical competencies that designers should be developing. I don't think they should be developing to the level of experts, but more to the level of understanding what the experts are talking about and include them in the creative process. I often refer designers to Chris Nozell. He's a design leader in IBM. 29 interactions for AI. I think it's a great start for any designer who wants to start working with AI products. It's a great introduction to the terminology, and also I think it's written in the level that it's easy to absorb for someone who is not technical person necessarily. And last not least, adapting the research. I think that's something that we started practicing at Vinted. Whenever we speak to our users, we try to estimate what is their digital environment or AI environment right now. And that's super interesting. So I'm not talking about competitor analysis and understanding what do they use, but in general, how tech savvy they are. Are they using social media? What kind of social media? Where do they buy groceries? Where do they pay the digital banking and so on? Because that can help you understand how fluent they are in AI. I think it's very easy to get biased by us who work with the digital on day-to-day basis to assume that everybody understands how to do prompts, for example. Might be not the case for your users at all, because they might not be using even enterprise products or Google Docs. So the solution that might be looking great for you might be completely alien for your users. So I think that's definitely helpful. And I think last thing that we live in very interesting times. I mean, apart from many other things. But what is a great benefit of it is that whenever we speak to our users and ask them more specifically about algorithms, for example, they can provide the answers today, which they couldn't 4 years ago, because it was too abstract for them. Now, I think maybe it's because the high adoption of social media and other feed-based products, they actually can tell you how they wish the algorithm in your product would look like, or they would like to personalize it this way or the other. So I think I'm not sure how the tech savviness goes with the users, but on the other hand side, there are certain expectations to AI which are not so alien anymore for our users.
Yeah. You touched upon many very interesting topics. One remark that I might have here is that, you know, computers and interacting with computers, they trained us users to speak computer language, and they've been training us to do that for a very long time. And now in the age of AI, we kind of have to reverse that and learn to speak again in a more conversational manner with more conversational interfaces. So this is indeed a very interesting point, that basically we need to kind of speak human again to machines, which is maybe a little bit counterintuitive. And another thing you touched upon is staying up to date in education. And Francesco, I wanted to go a little bit to you with that topic. And how do you think can we stay relevant? Can we stay up to date with what's happening in the world, or in the design world at least? And what's the AI role here?
Yeah, I was actually I was thinking this weekend. I was observing a friend of mine that started to dive into photography just recently, but I was looking at how I was using the camera and everything, and how it basically skipped all those parts that lots of photographers will call like fundamentals. And I started to think about another thing that always bothered me about the education system. Like, this is quite from afar, and I hope it won't be a long answer. But essentially, you know that if you study history, the program is always pretty much the same. Like, you have ancient Greece and Roman Empire, Middle Age, Renaissance, Industrial Revolution, the Second World War, and it's pretty much the same has been the same for the past 40 years. And a lot of people, like a lot of my friends from my generation, from the generation before me, they don't know what happened before. They know very little about the Berlin Wall, the Cold War, 9/11. So what's the takeaway here? The takeaway is that the more we progress forward in the future, we need to find a way to compress what happened before, and maybe, of course, there will always be specialists that will specialize in that particular topic. Ancient Greece, hyper specialists, for example. So in terms of looking this with the lens of the AI and something that new designers would the skill set that new designers should develop is the fact that AI could just help them to skip those fundamentals. And I know maybe it's a very radical opinion, but when it comes to especially product design, there are very few ways to do certain things. We have just maybe a couple of ways to design an input field, or very few ways to design advanced filters on an e-commerce, or even typography. They have very strict rules you cannot escape. With AI, you can just compress that knowledge and just retrieve it when you need it. Just like my friend, like I don't need to know what exposure does, like in the details. I can just retrieve it when I need, and maybe use AI to just help me to make a better photographs. I don't need to know the exact details. This makes me a worse designer than other people that knows all the theory. Maybe yes, maybe no. Of course, it's quite. Then again, it's a radical opinion, but it's definitely something that the skill set of the new designers will be more leaning into the now and the problems that needs to face right now. Like I need to face a problem of virtual reality, of augmented reality. I don't need to know the entire history that came before that led to virtual reality.
Yeah, interesting. I wonder, is this AI education or AI powered education different depending on different sectors, or is it universal? When I think about financial services, for instance, this is something that no offense to fashion or food delivery, but has a bit of a higher learning curve, higher level of expertise required to be fluent in what's happening in the financial world. So François, naturally this will go to you. This things mentioned by Paweł, educational aspects mentioned by Francesco. How does it look in your case in Younited?
For us, as a financial service, it's quite important to respect some rules. So we have a lot of constraints. Now we are really going deep into the AI and its possibility. And one of the stream are from the tech side. They really try to check all solution that is available and that are compliance ready. That's really the most important, because we deal with data of a customer. We can't send information from bank reader or give recommendation to abstract recommendation or some kind of investment recommendation without checking everything and controlling all the behavior of the AI. So first step is to create some framework and try a lot of different tools, test them inside our company, so to manage and optimize operation. For example, on the data side, how we can accelerate the categorization of the bank reader, also how we can analyze document better, and how we can improve our customer service and operation in general. And so making that by a little test and learn system, we can then deploy the solution that work well internally to the customer, to the final user, without taking too much risk.
Okay.
So this is quite interesting. And the designer on our side, our main goal, of course, is to collaborate with over on this topic, and also to bring some two stuff. So to bring use case. For example, understand that our user want to get recommendation, get feedback on how to manage better their money, what to spend, what to not spend, and try to give the maximum of use case to the tech team and the data team, so they can explore and advise some technology to us in feedback, and so we try together to integrate this new technology in the final product.
And so now both you and Paweł, you mentioned that AI is being implemented somehow on the user side in your products, and users are getting AI recommendations or things, AI things in your products. Now, I'm curious, how does it influence the users' trust, or does it? Do you observe that there is some sort of friction? Are users trusting those AI recommendations or those AI features?
I can maybe start. I think when it comes to trust, we didn't see that users wouldn't trust the recommendation less or more that we have. I think they already understand there is connection to their past behavior and to what do they we offer to them. But on the trust side, there are other things that are coming with AI, which is the bad actors that come to the platform and the bots that are being created by AI. And I think that that's the dark side of the rapid development of AI is, as much as there are great opportunities coming for us to introduce a good value for the users, there are also the increased numbers of the bad actors and the solutions that are malicious to our potential users. So therefore, we have to make sure that we are proactively addressing that and reacting to that as well. And that has impact on trust for sure. So
Yes.
we want to make sure that what we recommend to the user is real and has the right value for the users. And I think those are the challenges that come very fast to us right now, as the development is, as I mentioned, very fast right now.
Yeah. And do you disclose in your systems what is AI and what is just regular algorithm?
Yes, that's obligatory actually right now. So when you have feeds, you have to explain to the user. Still, I think that the language, how we describe it, can be done better. On the other hand side, we keep changing the algorithms, right? We keep testing what is better for the user, what has better adoption, what is better reception. But I think developing the language for sure is something that we keep working with the content designers and try to test with our users as well. And the more legal obligations are coming from the EU, which I think is great. And now the AI Act was signed off 2 weeks ago. I think there will be even more pressure on and probably unified language around those problems in the future.
Mm-hmm. And François, when it comes to trust in Younited, did you see anything from your users?
For now, yeah, it's a topic that is super important too. That's why we're making a lot of tests before to provide only a solution that's fit their need and explain, of course, where the AI will help them in what context and give maximum transparency. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. We have a question from the audience, so let's maybe look at that. So, how can we encourage designers to look at how unmet needs can be fulfilled with AI? What are the ways we can think of AI as an enabler to solve these unmet needs? That's an interesting one.
Yeah, maybe I can fill it in with a particular perspective on especially the encouragement word sparked something, because I mean, working in the design system and creating a design system from scratch, it means that one of the most common things is to create a reference site and write a lot of documentation, write a lot of rules, but especially when you have maybe a limited bandwidth and maybe not a lot of resources, you end up, especially in the past couple of years, you end up writing things using AI, using ChatGPT. And the question that sparked in my mind recently is like, why are we relying on ChatGPT? But then we are so pretentious that we want to other designers read long forms the old-fashioned way. So I think the unmet needs here is that when you start to integrate AI in your workflow, you took it until the end and took all the way. So if you're integrated in your creation process, you also try to leverage it for the end user, and basically trying to, okay, this is like my customer has a need, and how can I just try to feel almost as an intermediary between who creates the thing, like between the prompt and the actual delivery of the thing. So at bottom of the line is the fact that the most important part of using AI as we constantly hear about using AI as an intern, as an assistant, but it's not using it as an assistant, but also build the assistant and deliver the assistant. So it's different parts of this assistance design. Probably, I don't know if this is a new term that I just invented, but this is probably that's the thing. But of course, we cannot rely too much on expect the AI to notice the unmet needs, or just came up with I have this idea. They will never have it. They will process who we are and what we and how we feed them. So that's the balance to find.
François, go ahead.
Yeah, on that, I think it's interesting also to see the AI just as some tools to reveal. For example, they will not provide the ID, but they could accelerate the process. For example, in UX research or some stuff that before was long, or you wanted to test and to see to find some new opportunity. Now you can have some ChatGPT and then make some interview and highlight all the insight, and some of them as human maybe you will not see directly, but when you read the translation and the AI work, you find different and new connection between all these different AI that you use, and this give you a new perspective and a new ideas. So it can be very interesting too.
So let's go a little bit provocative then. Do we still need research? We have so much data, right? And we have ChatGPT, we have AI. Can we just, have it tell us what to do instead of having all those time-wasting interviews? Wasting, quote unquote, sorry.
I can maybe start. I think we need more research right now, to be honest, because I mean, at least the current AI tools I see, of course, they are great with agglomerating the information that you already have, but they are still generating the output over there. So I think that looks very user friendly, but it doesn't necessarily speak the truth. But I think what is even what AI, at least for now, cannot cover, and I don't see it for coming in the tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen in a year, but tomorrow is understanding the context of the users. And since there are so many new tools coming, new operating systems, new assistants, and so on, I think it's more important to speak to users and understand how fast do they adopt, which I mentioned before. Also, users have to consent the data. So I don't think that there is any AI can tell you everything about the users because they didn't consent to that. And as we live, it depends on of course, the geographical location you are operating at. But in European Union, I think the data privacy is becoming even more stricter in order to secure privacy of the users, and therefore I think getting to our users would be even less possible to automate, and will be more important to directly speak to the users. I think there will be more diversity of products, of the features, of the services, and patterns of interactions, and will be hard to capture that with just ChatGPT.
Also, on these points, I agree, and I think that one element that will be difficult to feel with AI is the emotional part and the reaction, especially when you discuss with another person. You can feel some stress sometime when you try, or anger, or all this kind of stuff that can guide you also on what is the real problem, or what is the motivation level, and this will be very difficult for now to feel or to get with an AI.
I really like that point. Francesco, I saw you had some comments as well, or you good?
No, I completely agree. And then again, like I was trying to make the point early on this, like the intuition is something that we don't see, we don't, at least for now, anything that can let us think that AI will take over that part of the human nuances. So I completely agree with what Paweł and François said.
And Paweł, you talked a little bit about legislation and the obligatory we have to inform users about AI. I wanted to touch a little bit upon the ethical part, probably our last part of our conversation. What are your thoughts? Is it, you are from different sectors, different industries. I know we are now obliged to reveal some of the information about AI, what is recommended by AI, but can we really apply AI everywhere, even in our design process? And do we need to disclose that, and how ethical it is for us designers to rely on AI tools instead of our expertise? It's an open question. So,
this is. Sometimes I'm very pessimistic on that side. So it took us years to start regulating anything that any new technology took always years. So if you think like we took like 25 years to start just the conversation around privacy as a whole. So on the internet, of course, and we know a lot of countries are still regulating like advertising for influencers on Instagram. So like fighting over sneakers on a social post. So my opinion on this is that of course there will be a huge conversation in the next few months and a couple of years, especially on generative AI, more than the analytics and the language models and assistant AIs and how they scrape those data. I think that the things that the visual part will arrive first, and is gonna be a huge discussion. I see a lot of statements in the chat, especially on generative AI. That is gonna be the fire and the topic of discussion. What we can hope and try to advocate and collaborate is the fact that to divide. We as a society we always put everything in the same bucket. So if that kind of AI is bad, so all the AIs are bad. So the differentiation in the education about this new technology is gonna be much more important. This is the bottom of the line.
And I think this is a very nice wrap up for our conversation. We are heading towards the end, and I would like to really thank you for the discussion. A lot of very interesting points that it would be amazing to be able to go much deeper into them and continue the discussion later on. And I encourage all of us to keep on having those discussions at work and between our in our professional networks and explore how can we ensure we are staying human-centered and how we can augment our processes to make them even better using AI for good. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
I'm Karina. I'm a senior product designer specializing in design systems, and it's a real pleasure to finally be here with you. I've been with NetGuru for the past 3 years, and during this time I have worked with clients from US, Australia, Iraq, Germany, Poland, and most recently Switzerland. I have experience in industries such as fintech, a lot of this one, entertainment, automotive, healthcare, that's all that comes to my mind now. And every single project I participated in either had a design system or at least a decent library of components. And if it didn't have it at the time when I joined, well, I was responsible for changing it. Also, many of my colleagues have worked on amazing design systems. As NetGuru, we have built 14 from scratch and contributed to at least 40. Maybe there are more that I don't even know about. The ones we can talk about are, for example, JoyStream and Homebase. And I'm happy to share links to these case studies with you. They should appear in the chat soon. As an agency, because NetGuru is in fact a one-stop shop, we create a lot of teasers, prepare demos, show sneak peeks of what we can offer. We, of course, also help clients start projects from scratch or kickstart their own design systems, clean up the ones that they have. And if each time we were to begin with drawing buttons, inputs, and other elements, that would be very time-consuming, right? So enter Silk, an ongoing internal initiative of the NetGuru designers. That's the thing that I'm going to talk about today. So what is Silk? Silk is a set of Figma components based on a powerful variable setup. Well, if it's just that, why not use one of the existing solutions that you can download from Figma community? Well, it's because Silk is more than that. It's also a set of standards that can make work of multiple designers consistent. They define how to use the components as well as build them. It's a collection of design patterns so that designers working with it know when to use an error message versus info message or how to deal with disabled states. And it's a tool that helps designers write, so they don't have to worry whether to use sentence case or title case or how to format the dates. Bonus, we are working on an automated way for extracting knowledge from all these sets of guidelines, as well as proofreading the existing designs, but that's another topic. Another important part of this project, especially for me as a leader, is education. Everyone at NetGuru can contribute to Silk, and everyone can use it. People involved in this project are both design system experts as well as newbies. By working together, we share knowledge so that everyone can learn. And my wish for every designer at NetGuru, and we are around 60, is to feel confident using, maintaining, and building design systems. And that's what they can do, contributing and using Silk. So let's dive in. The most tangible thing about Silk is its components. The set that we have now is sufficient to build a typical delivery super app for mobile. As we go forward, we will be supplementing the project with components specific to fintech, e-commerce, and then expanding to web. But the components would be nothing if they were not based on a strict variable setup. So let's understand what variables are. And if you already know, please bear with me. That's going to be very quick. I just want everyone to be on the same page. So let's say we have defined these 3 types of corner radius for our elements. Then whenever we create a new element, we don't type manually a value, but we make a link. We say, take this value from here. So for example, we say these shapes should inherit the value from the first definition, the next one from the second, and these guys from the last one. Now, if I change the value of the last variable from 16 to 32, the elements will update automatically. These variables that we use in Figma can be implemented in code as tokens, as you probably know. So here we have just squares, but if you think that these things are in fact components and that their instances can be reproduced across the entire interface, you understand how powerful that is. So the corners are simple. Let's move on to colors, which we have prepared in a way that can really empower our designers. In Silk, we have a large palette of colors. Each has 12 shades. Boom. And they are prepared in such a way that both light and dark mode interfaces can be created. They are called global colors. That's the name of the variable collection that we have. And the names of the variables match the value they hold. So blue means blue, green means green. In fact, these colors are never directly used in the interface. And they define our topmost layer of variables. Every single thing inherits from that. So below in the hierarchy, we have accent colors and neutral colors. These variables are just containers linking to the colors from the global palette. So I don't say accent 600 is #685 whatever. I say accent 600 is blueberry 600. And then we have yet one more layer where we define colors for text, icons, surface, border, etc. So I say interactive surface, so the color for background for buttons, for example, is always pointing to accent 700, and its pressed state to 800. These colors are then assigned to components and custom UI elements. If you are familiar with variables still, that's no news to you. Maybe just another example of how things can be done well. However, the most important part of the color from our palette is that they are interchangeable. So the distance between shades of blueberry are the same as distances between the shades of fuchsia or any other color. This means that in every context where blueberry 200 is a good choice in terms of aesthetics and what's more important, accessibility, fuchsia 200 will work just as fine. So when a designer picks up Silk for a new project, they can easily create a custom look just by relinking the variables. They can say, I want my accent colors to point not to blueberry, which is the default for us, but to orange instead. And this will affect all the components. We have the same for neutrals as well. In fact, in Silk, we have 6 different shades of neutrals. If you are more into visual design, you probably know that the true gray often seems quite warm and does not go well with interfaces that have a lot of blue, like our blueberry. So here I have used that warmer sample because it goes well with orange, but for the default version of Silk, which we have seen just a moment before, we have chosen the one with the cooler version. And if you already have your brand color that you want to use in the interface, we have a whole setup of how this can be done. So you just give us a sample and we follow a process to expand it into the full 12 shade palette. And shout out to my colleague who has prepared this amazing system. For typography, we have prepared a similar setup. So we have granular elements such as font family, weight, spacing, and size, and then we combine them into a style. So text 500 points to selected elements from the larger collection of definitions. H1, a different style, still refers to the same collection, just different elements. If you need to create a new style for the sake of your product, you have already made elements that you just need to put together, and they will look coherent, cohesive, and harmonious because we have used a type scale to create the base elements. This way, you can modify your UI on the highest level. So going from Silk default to your Silk custom. by changing colors, typography, and other elements such as corners, spacing, borders, and elevation. So we are basically headless, but with some more specific ways of customizing and with more guidelines on how to do that. And we are approaching the more problematic part. So to do a lot of magic, additional plugins are needed, for example, because Figma still has variables in beta. Or implementation is a separate issue. I'm a designer, but my designs are worth very little if they never leave Figma. So from the start, we have worked with developers to set up the variables in the correct way. And as we test Silk for both internal and external projects, we discover new interesting issues. For example, contrasts that we have minutely measured are defined and defined for most of the screens are not enough for low quality post displays sometimes. These are just a few examples. I'm mentioning them because, of course, we've managed to overcome them somehow. But I want to underline that no tool is perfect, and Silk does not come with all the solutions. But people who build it understand it, and they know how to use it. So our goal is not to create one magic button that can fix everything. Our goal is to create a tool that is understandable and learnable, and that sets high standards, and that serves as a benchmark. Because I believe more in people than I believe in tools. Every tool needs to come with an operator, and I want our designers, users, and makers of Silk to be experts, ready to tackle any challenges and modify this or any other setup they encounter with confidence and ease, because, well, once they have built and used this very complex system that we have here. That's all I have for you today. I know there are a lot of issues that I haven't even touched upon. If you are interested in continuing this conversation, I am. Please reach out to me on LinkedIn, and I'll be more than happy to chat. Thank you.
Hello, I think we are live already.
Yep.
Hi, Philipp. Nice to see
Hi,
you.
Radek.
Perfect. I will start with short introductions. Today with me is Dr. PhD Philipp Baumann-Sury from UBS, and PhD wannabe, never finished. Maybe AI will help me, Radek Zalewski, senior partner at NetGuru. And today we are trying to understand how we can become cyborgs and to do a design process that is AI powered or augmented with AI. And my first question is, I ask this question everyone. I recently asked this question on LinkedIn. Are you, Philipp, already out of your job? Is AI already, augmented you so much that you're already thinking that you are not needed, or is it too early for that?
It definitely still is too early for that. However, I actually wish that AI would do more of my job, because when we were thinking about, how to introduce AI into the design process on a very generic level, and when I was thinking about why did I become a UX researcher, then it's really two reasons. Number one reason is listening to users, and the second reason is helping junior researchers. Both are very rewarding activities for me. And in my day job, I have tons of activities that are not directly related to these two activities at all. They are detractors. And if AI helps me to get rid of those detractors, well, even better. So yeah, I think it could be hugely beneficial.
So if you would say 30% of your job can be right now augmented via AI, or maybe 50%, or is it too early to try to measure this?
I'm not sure what kind of percentage it could be. So I will basically dodge the question and not give you a percentage. However, when I look at the literature that has been published in the last 12 months, there have been two approaches. One approach said, well, in the future, in our design field, we basically will just have UX researchers sort of collecting the requirements, and once they set the requirements, AI will do the design. So no UX designers needed anymore. All it takes is researchers. On the other hand, if you think about what AI truly does, then you come to the conclusion that AI is great at pattern detection and coming with summaries and conclusions. And now guess what a UX researcher is doing? It's truly pattern detection and coming to conclusions. So maybe this wheel will spin into the exactly opposite direction, and we will one day wake up in a world where no UX researchers are needed anymore. All it takes is the UX designers, who are still the truly creative people, to collect the information that AI presents to them and then come up with the designs in an AI-assisted manner.
So it's interesting you used the word truly creative people. With AI, it becomes a tricky thing, right? So I thought about myself as a, truly creative person, obviously, right? I'm a consultant, I'm a great marketer, great advisor. I have to be creative, but right now I'm using AI heavily in my daily work, and what I'm seeing that I might be creative, but also AI is super creative whenever I'm using AI to, for example, read the notes from my conversations, like let's say with you, and ask AI, hey, what have you heard? What was the tone of voice, or what kind of emotions you've heard? Could you provide me your creative ideas how I could leverage those emotions into further work? And the results are very, very interesting. So my question here will be, how does it impact us as creatives? Can we say we are still creatives if we share the workload with AI, or maybe AI is the creative and we are only using the tool properly and it's pretty boring?
Yes, I think we can still be creative, but in different ways. Let me give you an example. I'm a UX researcher by trade, and I'm definitely not a UX designer who has been building web shops, for example, to purchase the latest smartphone for years and years. So I'm really bad at this. All I can do is the research associated with it. However, if I am a researcher, not really experienced at designing web shops, and I had AI to do the job for me, then I could be actually more creative with AI than if I tried to solve it myself. So depending on where you are coming from and where your skills are, you are not that creative in terms of the amount of work you do, but on the surface, you will actually look like the more creative human being. However, that's just one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is that slowly but surely, AI will take over all the, let's say, less creative jobs, in terms of that an existing solution has been developed over and over again, and basically you are just replicating an existing solution, meaning that this will leave the truly hard problems for human beings still to solve. And when we look at the current issues we have with generative AI, then we do know that it's good at replicating what it has learned from training material, but it's not truly good at coming up with uniquely new solutions. And if you combine this bit with the bit I previously said, that the truly hard problems will still be left to human beings, then I can see us as a field developing into a reality where experts are needed to advance the truly difficult topics, and everything else will be left to AI.
So let's presume this is the future that is going to happen. Let's presume that the work of so-called creatives will be done as you are describing here. My question would be, what kind of system, or should we create a system to leverage AI? How we could or should build the processes around this new magnificent tool? And the questions I have, for example, are about like debugging why something happened or why something is not happening, or maybe logic, like why I should follow this recommendation, and then maybe the authorship, ownership of the ideas, like can I sign this off as my idea? When does it happen? And I can imagine that in creative space, in UX research space, this can be ethically challenging, right? If you're using AI but you're not disclosing your full process, there might be problems.
I agree. The problem is, what data was the AI trained with? And I am sure that the legal battles, they will still be fought. For us as creatives, I predict that it will become, less important on who exactly had an idea. As long as it is shared with everybody else, it does not really matter if it was developed by a human being or an AI or a human being in combination with the AI. I do not see a big problem there. Obviously, the much bigger question will be who provided all the resources in terms of human brain power and also AI. So, for example, if we look back at Steve Jobs, who had a big influence on Apple, and he is still today the face of the iPhone, for example, then we all know here in this room that Steve Jobs did not do it alone. So we still attribute everything to him. So everybody else who was in the process sort of is invisible. And I predict that the same will happen to the question you just asked. Basically, AI will suffer the same fate as the human beings who are on a design project. They will be in the background, and just some certain figure will be the front man or the front woman who is basically driving it all.
The AI tamer, the person who
maybe
unleashed the whole value, right, of the whole thing. But so this comes to a question about implementing the AI into the workflows, and for me it is very interesting to hear it from you as you're part of a huge organization. So how I often think about the AI is that some organization aggregated a lot of human knowledge that was out there online somewhere in some resources, aggregated this knowledge, put machines to reread and rethink this knowledge to create those models. And right now we are all, as organizations, are using this human knowledge to our advantage, right? Now, as a big organization, you might be worried about the IP rights, about having access to the creative work of some other people, or be worried that the AI might be shipping you the ideas that are already done by someone else. Do you think about those issues, or is it not yet the concern?
For me, it's not a big concern yet because I am just taking baby steps with AI on the one hand. On the other hand, please do not forget that our most important AI models we have today, they are open source and you can train them with your own data. And when you started to build up your question, you talked about aggregated data. I would sort of object to this specific term and say there are so many organizations on this world who have just collected data, but they have not truly aggregated it yet. Now, if you have this huge data pool, many companies on this world have so-called data lakes. And, with a data lake and sophisticated analysis methods, a data scientist can already do many great things. But if you have this existing data pool or data lake or whatever you want to call it, and you want to train your very own AI model, then we are looking at something that is both very unique to you. It generates a huge advantage in terms of what you learn about yourself, something you previously did not know. And it may also give you the competitive advantage because unlike the scenario that you previously painted, it's not so easy to replicate.
And regarding those, big organization objections or maybe things that might be wondering, I was thinking around how potentially AI could be used in the UX research or in creating the user experiences. And I was thinking it is pretty possible potentially that if you tell AI, for example, please optimize for conversion, or please AI make sure that this cohort is heavily optimized, never churns, whatever the task might be, right? And by the reasoning, the AI comes to the, of course, clear solution that is a gray pattern or a dark pattern or not yet discovered dark pattern, right? We don't know this is yet dark pattern, but it, for example, creates something that keeps the people engaged, but it's not great for them. And then if you're going to use it, who is responsible for it? Can you blame AI, or do you take the blame, or how you implement these issues, ethical issues, into your work process with AI?
Okay, so actually there are several questions in your question, so I need to split it into various bits. So the first question was, how do we implement AI into the design process? And as I previously said, well, AI is great at pattern detection. So when it comes to UX research, a huge boon would be for me that AI takes over the transcription of what was said during a client need interview, for example. Because with the transcript, I do not have to do the manual notes myself. I do not have to throw sticky notes on some form of whiteboard. I originally started in 2001 where we still had videotapes that we actually looked at again after the test. So this will be a huge time saver. And I guess by now everybody has played around with ChatGPT. I did so myself in my own time last summer when I was analyzing a pet shop. And it's very good at condensing information. So this will be a huge boost. Now, when it comes to UX design, pattern detection will also play a part here because, every company, be it either very small or very big, has some sort of design system that they usually adhere to. And you can actually use AI, or I predict you can use AI to see how much does a specific solution deviate from the design patterns that you actually have in place. So, even I, as a simple UX researcher, I may eventually be able to do a very quick check on, does a specific the interaction pattern meet our standards that we have in our design system? So that's that. Now, the second question is about dark patterns. And there, I would tell you, well, Radek, the problem is not very new. If you dive into behavioral economics, you know the dark patterns are already there. Like, so for example, some UX designers who apparently did, I forgot what company it was, but they basically designed a hair onto their user interface. So people were tempted to touch their phone and remove the hair. I mean, this clearly is a dark pattern, and it exists today. And it's very clear that those practices are already shunned in our design community. And I am very confident that a user who has been ever confronted with such a dark pattern will not return to that company again. And there we, have a very clear answer. Basically, a company already today is liable for their dark patterns, and in certain jurisdictions, they are heavily reliable for that. So it will not really change, no matter if a human designer implements a dark pattern or an AI does. I think the bigger question than the question if we use AI, yes or no, is the question, what kind of design system do we have, and what is permissible within this design system, or rather not. And in combination with UX research, where you constantly verify if the design system and the design patterns that come out of it live up to their goal, I guess this is how you combat dark patterns. And AI may even help you doing so.
I applaud your optimism. As a pessimist, I might believe that if you have actors that are overly zealous about achieving certain KPIs or certain business outcomes, they might try to tell the AI, like, let's do this, let's achieve the goal, how are we going to get there? And I believe that sometimes it might mean that the new creative so-called gray or dark patterns that we do not know yet emerge, right? And I think that will be interesting, because usually we know a dark pattern after some time, right? Sometimes it's not obviously understandable that something is not in the favor of end users, and sometimes there are those gray patterns, right? Like, is using notifications to keep your attention like good or bad? How often? Which notifications is the gray area? And I'm thinking, like, if AI will be helpful here, right, for the end users, for ethical designers, I think for sure. But for, I would say, unethical designers, it might speed up the creation of things that are not great, right? Great for business maybe, but not.
Well, I agree with you that it will speed up the design process of dark patterns, but I don't believe that it will be sustainable business. I guess everybody who is a designer this day believes that good intentions create good business, meaning sustainable business, because it's user-centric business. And if you employ dark patterns in your business, be it AI assisted or not, you're not user-centric anymore. You are company-centric. And I do not believe this is sustainable in the long run. I'm definitely pro good intentions and good business.
Thank you. That's really nice of you. I would also like to thank you, the AI, for being such a nice being, I hope. And I think that let's get fingers crossed. Thank you for this conversation, Philipp. I think the time is up. I'm taking a look at the questions. I don't see questions, only comment by Alina that we are moving towards illegalizing dark patterns by legislation. That's cool. That would be great to see. Thanks, Alina, for mentioning this. And again, thank you, Philipp. And wrapping up, I would like to thank you all for being here. That was the last talk today. Hope you enjoyed it. And please be informed that the Disruption Forum Engineering Horizons, April 23rd, this year we'll be talking not about the design, but about the engineering. We have confirmed speakers from MasterCard, Talabat, Kilo Health, Bubble, exciting companies, exciting speakers. If you're into AI, into engineering and engineering at all, please come. Thank you very much, and talk to you soon. Bye. It was Disruption Forum by NetGuru.
Bye.